Welcome to Strategies and Tools for Effective Online Assessment in Languages. In our previous online professional learning, we explored ways we can modify existing Stage 5 tasks to make them suitable for the online environment. In this session, we will look at existing Stage 4 tasks and how, with slight modifications, we can use them to effectively assess our students. As we begin, I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the lands on which we are meeting today and pay my respects to elders past, present, and emerging, and to any Aboriginal people who may be with us today. In this presentation, we're going to cover some key considerations of assessment, what assessment in the virtual space looks like, and how to modify existing assessment tasks for synchronous or asynchronous assessment. Assessment is the broad name for the collection and evaluation of evidence of a student's learning. It is integral to teaching and learning. Assessment can enhance student engagement and motivation, particularly when it incorporates interaction with teachers, other students, and a range of resources. Teachers should consider the effect that assessment and feedback have on student motivation and self-esteem, and the importance of the active involvement of students in their own learning. It provides opportunities for teachers to gather evidence about student achievement in relation to syllabus outcomes, and it enables students to demonstrate what they know and can do through a range of task types. Regardless of whether assessment is happening at home or in the classroom, we need to consider the same points. Each task should be based on syllabus outcomes. It should assess at least one communicating and one understanding outcome. It should be a valid instrument for what it is designed to assess. It should include criteria to clarify for students what aspects of learning are being assessed. It should be reliable, measuring what the task intends to assess and provide accurate information on each student's achievement. It should be free from bias and provide evidence that accurately represents a student's knowledge, understanding, and skills. It should enable students and teachers to use feedback effectively and reflect on the learning process. It should be inclusive of and accessible for all students. And it should be part of an ongoing process where progress is monitored over time. In our previous professional learning on quality assessment in the virtual space, we talked about some key considerations for online assessment, including ensuring your expectations are realistic. What outcomes and content will you focus on? Consider which outcomes and content will be best suited to teaching in a remote learning environment. If your students all have access to an online platform with interaction, you can still assess interacting. However, if access to technology is limited, you may want to focus on assessing, accessing and responding, and composing. Nothing is off the table. You may just need to change what and how you were planning to assess to make your life more manageable. Evidence of learning. What do you need your students to submit or show as evidence of learning? Are there various ways they can show their learning? Careful planning to cater for different learning situations. Keep the varying situations of your students in the back of your mind as you plan your learning opportunities. How you can cater for those that can't join in real time. How can you add scaffolds for those that might struggle to be independent in their learning? What are some of the tools available for online assessment? There is a myriad of online software that can be used for the teaching, learning, and assessing of languages. We have seen some great examples from our colleagues in our virtual statewide staff room on Yammer, and our own Corina Allen has demonstrated the use of some of her favorites during her Zoom and Adobe Connect sessions. We have compiled many of these tools in our Using Digital Tools to Enhance Language Learning document, shared on Yammer and via our blog. You can explore them at your leisure and use what suits you and your students' context. Also, through the Digital Learning Selector, the department offers a number of online organizers and digital tools which you can use in your virtual classroom for students to present their ideas and collaborate with each other. Some of them you may be familiar with, such as Google Slides, and some may be new, so take the time to explore. Search Digital Learning Selector in Google and it will take you to the department's page. In our previous professional learning, we explored ways we can modify existing Stage 5 tasks to make them suitable to the online environment. In this session, we will look at existing Stage 4 tasks and how, with slight modifications, we can use them to effectively assess our students. We're using the Stage 4 tasks that you can find on our website as examples, so you may already be familiar with some of them. First up, let's start with something easy, the Chinese task. This task is a film review, assessing communicating outcomes 3C, which is the accessing and responding, and 4C, which is composing. For this task, students are required to write a simple film review. Students write a review in Chinese that discusses the following: the title and characters, information about the plot without spoilers, their opinion, who they would recommend this for, and how many stars they would give the film. The task makes clear the required number of characters with correct stroke order, so we know students are handwriting their task. How can this be modified for the online environment? This task is easily adapted to online assessment, as what the students are asked to produce is a written task. If assessing synchronously, students can compose the task in real time and submit it to the teacher during a set time period. To ensure authenticity, they can write it on paper, take a photo with their phone, and upload it to Google Classroom or email it to the teacher. Next is French. Students have been selected as an exchange student to a francophone country and are asked to create a photo book to take with them on the exchange program, introducing 4 important people or animals. For each photo, students include captions with name, age, appearance, and personality in French. This French task is an example of how we can create tasks that can be submitted by students asynchronously by a set date. Once again, this particular task does not need any changes or modifications, as the students can be creative and need to produce a photo book using what tools or software they prefer. All we have added is more details about the platforms they can use to create their photo books. The Italian task assesses the interacting outcome 1C and the accessing and responding outcome 3C. In groups of 3 or 4, students imagine they're planning a night in with friends and what to order pizzas. Using an Italian menu provided, students discuss what to order with their group and why, then place their order. The task is then filmed and presented live or a role play. This task needs a little bit more tweaking for the online environment. So let's take a look. It's a collaborative task, and at the start, the idea of assessing it might seem daunting. However, it doesn't mean it cannot be adapted for the virtual space. Students will need to be provided with ideas on how to collaborate in order to plan their task. This would be live collaboration through a video conferencing platform such as Teams or Zoom, using the breakout rooms to organize groups. Some platforms also include a whiteboard function for added brainstorming capabilities. Students will also need scaffolded support on sharing their plans and drafting their work. They can use online collaboration tools such as Office 365 or Google Docs. These enable students to participate synchronously and asynchronously. When the collaborative document is shared with you as a teacher, it also enables you to provide feedback along the way. For the online version, we've also included a few more considerations, as you will not always be there in front of the students like you are in class. Finally, we've provided the tool for recording. Another change you may want to make here is give students more time, as they need to collaborate, record, and then edit their video. We went a step further when looking at this assessment task and presented it in quite differently for students too. Let me just click on this link. So you will see that we used Adobe Spark to create this online version of the task, but you could also use Microsoft Sway or Google Slides. So you can see that everything is laid out on this online version. We have the outcomes that the task assesses, some accessing tasks for the students, detailed instructions, and marking criteria. Also, we've included here the differentiation or how we adapted the task for students with a background in Italian, and again, the appropriate marking guidelines, the menu that they have to look at and discuss about what they want to order. And at the end, it's the detailed instructions and considerations on how to create the video, how to collaborate, and upload it for the teacher for marking. So as I said earlier, we could use either Microsoft Sway or Google Sites for this to create a similar effect. Moving on to the Japanese task. This one also assesses the communicating outcome 3C. However, in this task, the final product is a spoken text. So let's read through it. Your school will be hosting Japanese exchange students soon. Your teacher has asked you to interview the exchange students in Japanese at the next school assembly, as everyone in stage 4 has been learning Japanese. 3 of the exchange students have sent you recordings of their self-introductions. Listen carefully to their introductions. When you introduce the exchange students during the assembly, what questions will you need to ask them to be able to share this information with the school? Record the script of what you will say. So to adapt it to remote learning, you can make these modifications. Students can present their task live via platforms such as Zoom, Skype, Adobe, or Microsoft Teams. Alternatively, they can complete the task by recording the audio or video and uploading it to a shared platform or learning management system such as Canvas, Schoology, Google Drive, Classic, Schoolbox. Students can record the task in an app, example Powtoon, Voki, Blabberize, Flipgrid, and also remind students to wear their uniform for authenticity when recording and to be mindful of where the recording is taking place. Next, we move on to the Spanish task. The Spanish task needs no modifications either, as it was always aimed for an online platform, Fakebook. Fakebook is exactly what it sounds like. It looks and has the feel of exactly like Facebook, only it's a tool specifically for the classroom. You can use it remotely or in an in-school situation. We hope you can get some inspiration from these ideas that you can use with your classes, and you can always share them with us via Yammer. Thank you for watching.